guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Litsy. If this is your first time on my channel, this channel basically talk about spirituality, my growth, my journey within that, and just all of that, the balancement of life. And yeah, I vlog here and there, I do this here and there, I do a lot of stuff. I don't know, go follow my Instagram if you want to go check more out. On today's video, I decided that I'm gonna be doing my makeup, like a full face of makeup. I pulled out my makeup stuff yesterday and I hadn't done makeup in so long. And if y'all don't know, before, when I was watching YouTube as a kid, all I ever watched was makeup tutorials, how to do makeup and all that. And I used to do makeup like all the time because it's just, I just thought it was so fun. And then I got into my spiritual journey. I like ended up stopping. I'm gonna just start on my makeup already. But yeah, I just decided that in today's video, I'm just gonna do my makeup as I talk about, like, I guess like a life update, where I've been at mentally and emotionally, and just a life update for y'all and for me as well, because I'm still trying to navigate kind of like where I'm at, what I want to do as far as content creating and my channel and all of that. I just want to go wet my beauty blender. As starting off, kind of like, I'll just start off what's been going on recently within myself and my own spiritual journey. Starting off with the full moon in Gemini that just passed. And if y'all are into astrology and all that, and spirituality and alignment within all that, then this might be the channel for you. So yeah, the full moon in Gemini passed.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
It was crazy, which makes sense because the energies were supposed to be chaotic and all that. And I did see that and feel that, and you know, saw that into the energy and all that. But y'all, I am so grateful because I was watching one of these tarot readers that I watch, and she was talking about how the energies are going to be chaotic, but the good thing is that a lot of people who are into astrology and all that know it's going to be chaotic, so it's most likely that we know how to move and navigate through the feelings and emotions and the ups and downs of the energy that we just all experienced as a collective, but also like individually, because you got to remember that all situations are individualized for that person specifically. There's like the overall, and then there's like your own personal journey, your own situation, your own living situation, your own life. Moon passed, whatever, I was great, I was doing fine. And then I noticed that as I was talking to one of my friends, as we were talking, so much childhood trauma came up as we were talking. And this isn't like something bad, like I don't say like, oh my god, me and my friend, like it's not my friend's fault that my trauma came up. Like, I don't mean it like that, just in case if anyone was thinking that, in case anyone is new here. I mean it in the way like our conversations were so rich in wisdom and knowledge and just like energy that it had like sparked up that energy that I had like not even acknowledged within myself and within my own journey, which I always think is so beautiful. I love when people can come into my life and show me so much, not only about myself but about how I've been handling stuff. So yeah, I noticed that was happening, and I was like, oh, where was this, when did this happen, like what? I was like very caught off guard. Not only that, but there's just so much change happening in my life. I just turned 20. A lot of stuff are going on in here and in here in life, and just it's crazy. But it's just so amazing how everything's like unfolding and how I get to witness that. within my own life, and I just think that's so beautiful, although it can be so hard. Oh, another thing that I want to talk about is how so like when you're on your spiritual journey, you learn to, like, at least for me in my own journey, I've learned to like not identify with certain words because your words are very powerful. Anyways, as I was saying, something that I've learned within my own spiritual journey is like how to not identify with certain words because your words are literally spells. Like, your words are so powerful, what you speak and all that. Like, oh my gosh, like they are so powerful, and to identify with certain low vibrational frequency words can keep you in such long-term loops. And I know that not only from experience but literally from logical science on how that impacts your life, like what you say and what you speak out into existence. But something that I realized that has actually been happening throughout these, like, this whole time I've been on YouTube, this whole time I've been creating whatever, living my life, going through about my spiritual journey, I realized that I have had, oh my god, it's so interesting because you have so many ups and downs, and like when you don't like allow yourself to identify with certain words because you know the power of it, wow, I feel like my whole life has just been open to a whole new set of doors. Because basically what I'm trying to say, now let me move on with what I'm trying to do. Throughout this whole journey of being on my spiritual journey, learning and healing and growing and becoming awareness, because healing is literally another word that feels easier for us and for people to say than to accept, because healing is literally the acceptance of something or coming to terms with the fact that you need to switch how you're doing something. Healing is like the evolvement of, once you're aware of what is going on, you know not to fuck with those people, you know not to, you know not to hang out with people who are going to hurt you or manipulate you or anything like that. You know that because you've healed from the trauma that you've experienced. It's your awareness of it now. So I've been on my spiritual journey, I've realized that so many times within my own spiritual journey, I've hit stages where I feel depressed. And I say depressed because, like I said, I don't identify with certain words for that same negative connotation that they have to them, and that they keep us in literal chains. When you're like, if you become aware of like how people act when they say, oh, I'm depressed, I'm not saying that they don't feel that way or they don't feel a certain way, but when you put a word on the energy of a certain feeling, you put it in a box. You say, I'm depressed, and you think that's who you are, but the thing, it's not who you are, because you can literally shift the frequencies of your body. And we're literally like 90% water, and if you like, there's literally studies of like how the ways that you talk to water, the ways that you talk to rice, the ways that you talk to living things, and how it affects that. And we're literally made up of all living things. So obviously what you talk and what you say like sticks to you and becomes your reality. But I feel like this time around, within this full moon in Gemini, within this full moon in Gemini, I realized that if I were to label what I've been experiencing these past few years, it would be depression. And I think it's so interesting now to see it from that perspective as well, because I've literally just been living my life, and I think it was very important for me to not label it as anything, because I have been in a state of where I called it depression, or where not even me, but like other people were labeling what I was going through, as well as when people I like get diagnosed with stuff. Like, I'm not saying that's bad, but when you tell someone who they are, they start thinking that, especially when people are at such vulnerable states of thinking, of being emotionally. And I just I don't know, like, I just think it's so crazy, because I've been in a state of mind where I allowed myself to think that I was depression, or think that I was anxiety, or think that I was the ADHD, or think that I was obese, or think that I was ugly, or think that I wasn't good enough, and all these things that other people labeled me as, because not only did I grow up being manipulated, which already instilled my mind at such a young age to believe what these specific people, I'll say my parents, what my mom, not only at such a young age did my mom install that into my mind, that I could only like listen to what she was doing, or only do what she wanted me to do, because, you know, mothers know best, whatever. I also just thought about Tangled, literally, that movie. If you've seen that movie, you know how that movie ends for the mother. So yeah, I also wanted to talk about being manipulated and all that. There's really no like base ground to what I'm talking about on today's video. I just thought I'd give kind of like an update on my life, because I realized that I had been going through it, and I have been going through it for a while now. As I've grown up in a manipulative household, it's like trickled on to my older sister as well, acting in the same form as my mom. And that is so interesting, because like these are things that not a lot of people talk about, because they're ashamed that like, what if my mom sees it, or what if my sister sees it? And for a long time I was like scared to talk about that, or be like, yeah, my mom's a manipulator, she's like a narcissistic manipulator, and emotionally, like mentally. And it got to a point where it was physically, and like with the people that she brought into our lives, they started acting that way towards me. And I can't speak for the rest of my sisters, but it did get to a point where it got to physical abuse, like sexual assault, hitting, literally alcohol abuse, like all these things that have happened. And within me, going deeper within this journey, I really want to be more open about these stuff, because else that I noticed within this full moon is that my mind, although I was healing and growing and showing up for myself, I realized that my mind, as I described it while I was journaling, had become like this like voice recording message of my mom being like, you're not good enough, or you're not working hard enough, you're not enough, or you need to work so yeah, you're worthy enough, and stuff like that. And I've talked about this before, but I've never really allowed myself to go as deep as I did within this full moon that just happened, which is why I wasn't really posting. I feel like a lot of people were kind of like going through, which makes sense again, because the chaotic energy, but again, it's also individualized to each person on their own. Without even noticing it, like I was being so hard on myself because of years and years of manipulation and abuse, and like all these negative connotations that my family would tell me as a kid, and even now still try to tell me. Obviously now it's different, because I know the difference, and I know that what they say is just a reflection of how they're doing within themselves. But it still hurts, and it's still very hard to live in a household where you know, you feel like you can't be yourself, or you feel unworthy, because that's what these people have been telling you all your life. I watched a video of Trinity. If you don't know who that is, I'll put her link in the description, because I love her. I've learned so much from her and all her friend group. I know who the Flow Network is. Like, they're so great. They're so amazing. I love them. But yeah, because I was so used to all that, although I was healing and growing and learning to be more comfortable within myself, I thought I was doing great, and it turns out that I was doing great, and I was doing enough, and I was working enough. If y'all know, like, I literally, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing YouTube, I'm doing content creating and all that. I've always wanted to since I was a kid. I literally met INMYEYE and I was like crying. In doing that, there was still parts that I had suppressed, or that I just wasn't aware of the fact that I was telling myself all these negative things in the back of my mind. And it's just like, it's so heart-opening for me to not only talk about this, but to show up for myself in such a gentle and nurturing way, where I'm giving myself the space to talk about this. And it just feels so good to actually talk about, because for years I've been wanting to do that, but like I said, I was just so scared to get kicked out, or, you know, have this be used against me in any way. Because if y'all don't know what manipulation is or anything like that, it's basically like people who use like mind games to get you to think a certain way. It's like part of gaslighting, but there's so many different things that go into it. Like, there's narcissistic manipulators, there's, oh my god, there's so many different types of manipulators, and so many things that go into it. I actually read a book about it, which is what broadened my awareness of what I was experiencing. And I'll put, the book is called A Step-by-Step to Healing Gaslight. What is it called? I'll put a picture of it right here. But it's just so crazy. Like, there's just so many things. And yeah, I just would never talk about this because I was always too scared, or I just was like, oh, I don't want people to think that these people are bad, because are these like my family? But it's like, it's people that I want to love, it's people that I wish could love me. But the reality of the truth is, these people don't love me. And I've actually made a video about this, and I actually really don't want anything to do with these people. And it's just crazy. There's so many things that go into it, like I said. But anyways, let's move on with my makeup tutorial for a little bit. And take away all the bake and do this. This is like my actual shade of my skin, so I just do that and it like blends it in. Y'all see? Brush out my eyebrows. I don't really do a lot of eyebrow stuff just because, I don't know, I just don't really do anything to my eyebrows. I'm trying to grow them out so that they can be more even, but I don't really know how to do that. Well, I do, I'm just like not as patient when it comes to my eyebrows. So much that goes into everything that I've just experienced, and I really just want to be like a voice about this, because it's, you can be so unaware of how people are manipulating you, especially if it's like someone from your family. Like, you would think that people who are part of your family wouldn't do that, and sometimes they're aware of it and sometimes they're not, but either way, it's the act of their own doing. It's the fact that they're still choosing to show up in this way that isn't serving anybody. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the times people who are manipulators, I feel like whether they know it or not, they end up alone. They end up in the trash. Y'all know what I mean. Because they don't know how to treat people with respect or with love and kindness, not, at least not in a real way where the emotions are real or anything like that. And I'm not saying that these people are like at fault, because they are, but also I know it's because of their own, how they grew up, their own conditioning and all that. And for a long time I would use that as like a backup and be like, as literally as like, I would be like, oh, but they don't know, like they don't know that they're acting like this, or they don't know that they need to heal this. And I would give them the benefit of the doubt, but giving them the benefit of the doubt only hurt me way more in the end, because I was the one that had to put up with all these stuff, with the awareness of what they're doing. And that just doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve me. It didn't serve me at all. And it doesn't serve them to grow as people at all either. Because they think when you allow people to continuously act in a certain way, although you're aware of it, and you're like, if you give them the benefit of the doubt and they continuously do the same thing, you're giving them the okay, or like you're showing them that it's okay for them to act like this, that they don't need a change, and therefore they will never change. Yeah, I just decided I would talk about that in today's video, because it's not something that a lot of people talk about, and I think it's just very sad, and I feel a lot of compassion for my child version that didn't know what was going on. And now that I'm like aware of it, I'm just like, wow. And it's been a challenge. If y'all know, I've been on this like kind of love journey as well. There's so many different journeys to go on, knowing what love is and really understanding that for myself, and how other people show up for me within love, and when they don't, and the people who are of value and who are not of value. I'm at a good place. I'm at a place where all I want is peace, and that's all my heart wants, and that's what I'm receiving and getting, period. Like I said, it's been a challenge. It's been confusing and interesting and sad, but then also very, very happy and like interesting, because there are people who you're gonna meet and you're gonna be like, wow, like this is what love is supposed to be like, romantically and platonically. Like, this is what real people showing up for you feels like wow, like give thanks that there actually are people like that. And then you'll also come across people and be like, whoa, interesting how you make me feel like I'm not enough, or interesting how you like don't acknowledge my existence truly. And I've had to go through friendships and relationships where I was in those friendships or relationships where I thought they were showing up for me and I thought they were being loving people. And then once I like had a shift in my own energy, I realized that these people like were literally doing things that manipulative people do, or weren't even acknowledging my true existence at a core, or weren't even like trying to get to know me more, or made me feel like shit, or made me feel like I wasn't enough, for the same reason that I would just give. I naturally, me within my own journey, I'm not saying this is a result of like what happens when you are manipulated for so many years, But for me, within my own personal life, like, I've always been very giving. I've always put a lot of people before me, and because of that, a lot of the times, if I give to someone and they show a little bit of interest in the fact that I gave them, I'll think that is love, and I'll be like, okay, I need to give more and more and more and more. How about you? But anyways, yeah, that's like one of the results within my own journey of like thinking that I need to continuously give and give and give and give to these people, and without even receiving anything. And that is not the case. That is not the case. I'm only receiving from here on out. Like, if y'all don't appreciate me the way that I deserve to be appreciated, then there's no reason or point for you in my life. Like, and that's that. I've had so many years of not valuing myself to not value myself when I meet new people. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm very happy where I'm at. It's not exactly maybe where I want to be, but I know I'm like so advanced from where I was, and I'm grateful for that. Always underline my eyes with the black eyeliner. It gives you that like really sexy sensual look. I have these little like sparkle things. This is the final makeup look. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about all the topics that I talked about. Sorry if y'all hear the dogs in the background. It's neighborhood dogs. But anyways, yeah, I hope if anyone resonates with anything that I said, comment down below. Let's talk about it. If you want to talk about it, I'm here as an open person who experienced all of these things to try and, like, you know, help other people who experience similar stuff, because it's definitely not easy, and that's what I really want to do, is like be able to help people, you know, grow their consciousness through what I talk about, or at least make it somewhat easier for other people to grow within themselves through what I talk about. So anyways, yeah, I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I haven't worn lashes in forever, but yeah, this is the makeup look. I hope you enjoyed. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. If you guys have anything y'all would like to hear my opinion about, or want to hear me talk about, or anything like that, let me know. I do have a podcast channel, which I don't really post on there right now, but I will in the future when I got more people to talk with. But anyways, yeah, I love you, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.